What's going on, people? Welcome back from our quick little break. We're about to tune in and check out this Dwight Deloach law firm commercial that we did.
I don't care if it's last minute. I've been trying to talk to Shorty for years.
Oh my God, slow down!
I'm telling you.
Stop!
You don't have to worry in situations like this. The Loach Law Firm is here to help. Your recovery and well-being are of utmost importance to us. From medical bills to lost wages, we fight for all of our clients. I'm attorney Dwight Deloach. I chose personal injury as my area of practice because I understand the pain and the stress that follow accidents. So remember, if you're not all right, call Dwight.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I had that slogan in my head because I heard it so many times on set that day. If you're
Right.
not all right, call Dwight.
It's sketchy for sure. You can't help but remember that.
Yeah, man. I heard it so many times. But let's dive into talking about it, man. How did you land this gig?
It's funny. I got hyped because I saw the email come through from somebody from 11 Alive News, and I'm like, huh? But I guess it was this guy who does like PR ad placements. He had his like own company. It was a collab between 11 Alive and I can't. It's something with a T. But he's like, hey, I have this client. Dang, I want to say I was every time I get these projects. At this point, I think I was in another South American country.
When you got the call about it?
Yeah,
For real?
I was in Costa Rica this time. I was trying
must
to
be good luck.
something. I need to go somewhere.
Yeah, no, that shit must be good luck,
I was
man.
trying to have
you
a
go out
Zoom
there
call,
and you get carefree, and people start thinking about you.
and I went to Brazil. Had Beta Squad. I need to go. I need to plan a trip. I need to plan a
You might
trip.
have just figured out the connection.
That's crazy, but yeah. So I was trying to have a Zoom call in the middle of a back road in Costa Rica.
When you were driving?
Luckily, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I was,
say that.
but
I
I
couldn't imagine.
asked somebody else like, "Can you drive so I can have this
Yeah.
call?" But
Was
no,
it a local? Y'all was just.
we was going to some excursion or something.
Oh, okay.
Top of a mountain, losing signal. The closer and closer
Nice.
we got to the top, like
Nice.
crazy. But he's like, "Yeah, I got this client's a lawyer. He wants to do a video." And luckily, he was like, "Yeah, I don't think it'd be too crazy. Like, he probably have, just something like an infomercial or whatever. Maybe somewhere between $5,000-$10,000. We'll see." He's like, he's a pretty flashy guy, so you never know.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll show him options of what he can get. So I did like, okay, yeah, you can do the infomercial. This is what this looks like. I was like, but what if we got a car, we crashed it, and we did all this, and he was hyped. He was like, yeah, let's do it. I like to go big or go home, and I was like, yes. And I didn't think it was real. I was like, I'm like, because he was real busy, like trying to get him on the phone was tough. And I was like,
Yeah, I could imagine.
Man, he not really gonna do it. But he's like, nah, lock it in. I want to go to the biggest package. I was like, say less. So we had picture cars. We had to reach out to somebody, which was interesting. That was the first time doing that.
Yeah, that was cool. I remember showing up to the location. I was the second person there. The only person that had gotten there before me was our rigging group for our car rigs.
Chris
Lawson. Shout outs to Chris Lawson. He did a great job on the project. All the cameras were safe. We got lights on the truck. We got cameras on the truck.
We had a 2-camera
We
setup.
had bags on the cameras because it started raining.
Right. Yep.
Shout outs to our team on that one too, man, because they did a great job. But yeah, I was the second one on location, and it was cool because the picture cars hadn't gotten there yet. And so the tow truck pulled up with matching trucks on its flatbed, except one was crushed.
Right, yep.
And the other one looked pristine still. Yep. And it was pretty cool. He was like, hey, man, where do I put these? And I was like, I don't know where they're supposed to go, to be
so
honest
much work
with you.
getting those. I'm not going to hold you. Yeah.
We hadn't really done a scout. I think you had scouted like digitally on Google Maps and found the location that we were going to utilize, the street.
Yeah, we just took a leap of faith. I was like, because we spent so much on the cars. I was like, I remember driving around one day. I saw like the side cut back road. I'm like, because we needed somewhere where there's not a lot of traffic. So we just was on a back road, and there was a church on that street. Remember, we had to go ask. I was like, I think they're having an event. There was something going on. And there was cars coming in. I was like, please, please, please.
Yeah, what they had a back to school backpack giveaway. And they
like,
warned us. They said,
let us shoot this.
yeah, I think we got out there early, like 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was cold,
they
too.
started having them cars come in about 11:30.
We had to put a whole team out to put cones out.
They gave us a warning. They were like, just so you know, we don't care if you guys shoot it right here, but we got a lot of people coming in about one more hour.
No way. This don't look like nobody traveling.
Look, they said we got a lot of people coming 1 more hour. I looked at you. I said, AD. We gotta get through these next 3 shots in an hour because we ain't gonna be able to shoot no more. We ain't gonna be able to shoot because our cars gotta move. You know what I'm saying?
We finally came up with a dope plan to like send them up this hill, which they were pissed about.
Yeah.
But
we got the car unloaded. One of the tough points for me, and because we didn't get to scout it, I'm sure this was a factor. And we were at the mercy of the locations available for what we were doing with the budget. But the sun was gonna be behind camera, pretty much flat lighting the direction we were shooting. And so we ended up.
Did we do an overhead? No, it was overcast.
We had an overcast day where the sun would peak every now and again, and then it would go back behind the heavy clouds.
That was terrible.
And so what we did was we put an 8x8 with a grid on it to block the sun, and then we redundantly put the 1200D behind it. And so when the sun would go away, we had the 1200 hitting through the thing, and when the sun came back, the sun was our key light hitting through our diffusion still. So that was the solution we came up with for the
I hate
sun
shooting outside.
direction with the location.
I hate shooting outside.
But yeah, no, it was cool, man. This first frame here was shout outs again to Chris Lawson. This was A-Cam. This was our Raptor. A-Cam was a Raptor. B-Cam was our Komodo. And we shot on Ingenue Easy Zooms.
Really, that was my first time shooting. They really impressed me.
Yeah, it wasn't my first time, but I always loved them for real. The only catch to it is, the size and the weight. But
huge, yeah. That's for no reason.
Great. No, it's for a reason. Well, it's for that picture.
Right.
They're beautiful, but it's a big lens for sure. But yeah, no, this was our A-Cam right here. The only reason I know this is A-Cam is because we only had one polarizer filter. And we ran the shots simultaneously. So A-Cam and B-Cam were shooting at the same time. And so this was nicely polarized right here for us. And, you can see him very clearly, very minimal reflections happening from the trees. But if you look at our wider frame, which is this guy here, you're able to see how much more reflection from this tree that we were battling. Now,
I think I was gonna try not to use that shot, but I had to just because of the way some worked out.
Yeah, but
it's still
personally, I think it worked out still. Obviously, the reflections play when the car is moving. First off, this truck is moving. He drives down the road in it, and so when he drove down the road, I think we did about 4 takes. I saw where the reflections were happening in the road.
Gap. Yeah.
And I saw where we would have a window where he could deliver a line and not be completely obscured and blocked by the reflections. And so that became the game. It was like try to get him in that window of time in the street where the reflections weren't too crazy and have him deliver the line. Because the line was very short. It was a super short line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a short commercial. It's a 30-second bit, the whole thing. So
that was a struggle in itself.
Always
is.
Stay
within that.
Always is. But yeah, this was our wide, and that first frame we just showed was our close up. I'm gonna put some behind the scenes up because I'm pretty sure I have it to show our setup or how we rig these cameras across the hood of the truck. But I know what we did is at the end of the rig, we armed up So if we have the cameras going across 2 speed rails, over here we armed us a 600? Because it ran off a V-mount. I want to say it was a 600X.
Probably. I had the 600
with a hard light Fresnel on it.
Yeah.
The Fresnel lens.
Yeah.
And all we were doing was trying to give him a little bit of light on that window side to, lift what the sun would be doing, because the sun just wasn't coming out enough to actually push light into the car.
Dark, yep.
Yeah, so the light from the sun just wasn't pushing into the car enough. And so we just rigged up this 300, slapped us a little V-mount battery on it, and called that bitch a day. And it worked out. It worked out. I mean, if you ask me, it worked out, but I'm biased. So
Right.
But yeah, simple frame, man. And the actor was great. He played Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah, yep. And the movie Air, Damian Young, yep.
Yep, Damian Young. And so yeah, those are easy frames right there. These were shot simultaneously, these two. Easy money.
Yep. And then trying to remember.
I think her frame is the next one, right? They came in where she sees him approaching behind her in the rear view back here.
Yep. I think there was like a couple things with like we were able to shoot that with a tripod, but it was something things with the placement of the cars was big.
Mm-hmm.
I think did we add our own smoke?
Mm-hmm.
Then we added our own smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to pull the cars super close. It was just a lot. And then that car was the only one we could get. It was crazy smash for how fast he was going.
Yeah. Where's that frame at? Oh, he's blocking it in this particular
we blocked
screenshot.
It specifically because
it was so banged up, right? From supposed to be like a minor fender bender.
Right.
Yeah, but no, it sells it for consuming. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to think too hard about, were they in an accident?
Right.
Couldn't tell.
Right.
Now it was an accident. He banged the mess out of the back of her car.
Yep.
But it was a game of inches as far as figuring out how close the truck and the car can be.
I like what the grid was doing here.
Yeah, the grid was controlling the light on him. To give you guys a little bit of a visualization, this is our 8x8 over here with a grid. And again, we had the sun coming through, and this is giving us the key situation. We had another 8x8 negative that was on this side over here,
and we was running it all to a generator that had to get ran all the way down there to the gas station on the other side of the street to not mess up the audio. That was.
And then do you remember the edge? You fought for it.
I did. Wait.
So, and then we have this 600 again.
Was it
over here with a Fresnel?
Right on the other side of the neck, right?
And that's giving him this little bit of edge right here.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I can't remember what it was.
I didn't want to do it because I wanted to give him as much time to just get his takes. Because not working with an actor.
Right.
I was like, this could go long or this could be quick.
That was a last minute
know.
audible. Was it?
It was. The edge. Yeah, the edge light was a last minute. It was like you were looking at the monitor and you were like,
I do that. You'd be looking at me like, what?
You was like, it's something missing.
Wait.
And I was like, man, Derick, don't do this now to me. The client is standing in front of the camera. Don't do this now. And he's looking at me and he's like, it's something missing. And I'm like, the record button is the only thing missing, yo. Just the record button. And you were like, I don't know. I think it's something.
I could not figure out.
And I was like, man, the only thing that could be missing or could even be added is the edge. And you were like, that's it. It need an edge. And I was like, man, get that damn 600X. Please plug that bitch in and get it on him quick. Because he was already standing in here. And I could tell he was nervous. I could tell he was nervous. And shout outs to Dwight, amazing lawyer. But being in front of a crew, being in front of all of the lights, direct cars behind you, you basically stepped into Hollywood in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Out of
And
nowhere. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot harder to use a
It's a
teleprompter on a
lot. And there
narrative
was no
commercial.
teleprompter. There's no teleprompter, and he's going off a script that I'm assuming you generated.
Yeah, and I remember talking to him. He was so confident. He's like, yeah, I got it. He was super busy as usual. He's like, I got it. I'll just be reading it in the car over here. And I was like, okay. But I mean, we made it work, Dwight. We made it work.
Yeah, we did make it work. And I think we made him look pretty good for, you know, his first time being on camera in this type of capacity. I think we did a good job.
Yep.
I can say he looks sharp.
Yeah.
He looks sharp. The suit looks great. The lighting looks great on him.
He ran that thing.
Yeah.
He put a lot of money into it.
Yeah, so not much else happening in this frame lighting wise. Again, we had an 8x8 neg. We had an 8x with a grid for our key light that was either the sun or a 1200D, depending on, you know, the situation that was happening.
I just like what the Ingenues did. Like,
yeah, they were great.
For a zoom, the
fog worked here though. This is what you were talking about with the fog happening. So this smoke that's selling, you know, engine problems, this truck didn't even run.
Yep.
Like this truck was dropped off of the tow truck and then pulled into place.
Yep.
So it's really just a game of perception, smoke and mirrors, no pun intended.
Yes, and so it was opening, narrative, then his narration, then one more scene. Yeah. So it was quick.
Yep. So we go from here, and this shot was a frame cut transition to the next, which was gonna lead us into.
Oh yeah, we did have to match cut that.
Yeah. So it was a match cut from here into here, which wasn't tough at all. Our AC took us a nice screenshot right here. We made sure to put him in the same distance and, you know, blocking. We kept the same lensing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I did, well, I guess we did, but I was making sure that we were executing, was I was trying to keep the formula for lighting it the same so that this match cut wouldn't look too crazy with, like, you know, his key light switching from left side to right side. Or, you know, the background going from kind of bright to kind of dark.
Yeah.
You know, so I was trying to keep like somewhat of a consistent
I think that's why
cut.
you still went with the 8x grid.
We still did the 8x with the grid. Yeah, so we still went 1200 with the grid. Keying him.
I don't remember all that. Did we replace? I think
that is.
I think I fought for that. Because we was running low for time. I was like, no, we gotta replace that.
Yeah, we definitely replaced that tube. So that tube ended up being when we got here, they had a Kino flow in it.
Yeah.
Like we're at a studio here. This is a Studio Space Atlanta, and they had a Kino flow up in there.
It was like spilling a bunch of orange or something, wasn't it? Or
it just wasn't controllable. Like you couldn't dim it. You know what I mean? It was on or off.
Blasting.
It was on or off, and it was fixed on the color temperature that Kino flow was.
Yep.
And so we took that out instantly. We put in Pavo tube.
Yep.
Nanlite Pavo tube.
Yep. Some coming through that window too, right?
Yes. So this is not a real window. Again, we're in a studio. So we went with 600X outside of this window behind the stage flat. Not 600X, Nova.
Yes, it was Nova.
Nova.
I don't remember which one, but it was one of the Novas.
Nova 600 was coming through the window. Big light blasting through this guy.
Did you do a Menace? I feel like you did a Menace.
He has a Menace with the F-22.
Yep.
Matte above him.
Yep, I remember that.
Big old Menace arm. Sorry about my terrible writing, guys. I'm born righty and I'm writing left right now.
Oh, shoot, I am people.
Yeah, I mean, it's my motorcycle accident, you know, so just don't take things for granted.
Right.
So we had the Nova coming through the window, the 600, and the reason I know it was the 600 is because we used the Nova 300
for that edge.
Here. This is the 300 Nova as his edge right here. And what that edge was doing, as you can see on him right here, that edge is being motivated from the window light.
Yep. I
So
remember
we were
thinking
just
through that.
trying to create the illusion that this window is letting light into the room, is also letting light onto him.
And it was just like we were so low for time because he kept missing the lines. I was so first I couldn't even articulate what I was trying to say. I'm like, it was one of those that I need something.
How many do you think we did? I'm guessing it had to have been like 30.
I, I don't know if it got worse there.
No, I'm only talking about here. I think it was 30.
I don't want to do it like that. I can't remember.
And it may not have been like 30 complete, but I want to say there was 30. Like, let's reset. All right, hold on, let's pause. Let's reset. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's go back.
Yeah.
And that's part of the game.
And I think it wasn't even like a budget thing. I think there was another production.
Yeah,
like,
it was another crew coming in to shoot after us, so we couldn't really just buy more time. Literally, we couldn't buy more time. But yeah, no, it was a game where I was like, I'm gonna step back. The lighting is good. He needs Derick's full attention, and he needs like air to breathe. There's a lot of people. The nerves,
lights, the 8x.
And I could tell. I know when we switched from the first location outside and moved to this location, I could tell that he applied pressure to himself. That he felt like he needed to step up because the first one or the first takes, were a little hard, and I feel like he put more pressure on himself.
Yep.
Which just comes with time and experience, where you realize, I'm like, hey, this is edited. It's not live. I can take a deep breath. I can even walk away real quick and come back. But that you don't have that until you spend time in front of the camera. Even now, I'm still getting used to talking and speaking in front of the camera here and there. So I get it, but that's part of the game as a director, of working with clients that are not talent.
Yeah, especially in the more so in the corporate.
Yeah, you do a lot of work in the corporate space. So you're working with principals and administrators
and they tend to always
doctors.
Be very highly confident of their ability. It's only two types of people in the corporate space: the ones that are super shy and just they're like, I'm gonna be terrible, and the ones like, I'm gonna be great. And both end up. The shy people tend to do better than the overconfident people.
It's the pressure.
The crazy part, yeah. This is how it be though, man. But yeah, no, this was definitely a dope project. I want to say it was our first streaming platform commercial.
What did it end up on? What did you put this on or run it on? Like Hulu, Amazon Prime type situation?
I can't remember. The guy sent me a spec sheet. It was like a spec sheet. Like, it has to have
the deliverables.
Like, this audio channel, this video format. It was something weird. I do like.
You had to send like ProRes, I've been right.
It was some other than that. It was weird. I think it was like a news platform, and then some other stuff. But like, yeah, I ended up having to do a website cut and then a TV cut, and there was a 45, a 30. It might have been 45, 30, and a 15. So yeah, those spots get specific.
Down to the second.
Yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, the thing I love about filmmaking is like, yeah, it sucks to fail, but it's also like amazing to fail because it's like you learn. So it's like, and I wouldn't call it a failure, but just knowing. So I just recently just came across a concept which makes sense, but I just never really thought about it, especially when it comes to spots. It's like shooting a previs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, it don't have to be nothing fancy. We're just gonna shoot it on the phone so the timing and the look is there, which is like a game changer.
Yeah. Did you do that on a recent project?
Or
you just plan to implement it?
Actually, am doing one tomorrow.
You gonna shoot the previs tomorrow?
Yeah, it's super rushed. But got another client who wants to do like a spot for a bail bonds company.
Yeah.
And I had to fight him not to do like the infomercial talking head thing, but so the previs isn't necessarily needed, but I told them let's do it just because I love the concept. It's like somebody walking through an office, just giving lines, and they're stopping interacting with staff, and then they just finish walking. That's really it. But like I said, I just recently, it's genius to be honest. It's like, okay, you can shoot it with a phone, anybody can do it. Your grandma can sit there and be like, welcome to this, but it'll give you the feel and the time is gonna be perfect. Because that was one of the toughest things. It's like,
Yeah, then the
where do we want
crew
to
can
cut
visualize
these?
what we're doing. Everybody can just
Right.
understand because it's hard, man, you know, to go off of a treatment.
Yep.
You know, I get treatments sent to me from, I've had them sent to me from you. I've gotten them from other directors, other producers. And you almost have to know the person to know how much of the treatment is literal and how much of it is abstract.
That's definitely a
You know what I
DP
mean?
director type of thing.
And so I've gotten treatments that terrify me because I'm like, how?
Right.
We don't have this stuff here. There's no way we have the money for these types of shots.
Yep.
And the director will say, oh, that was just a reference for the mood and the vibe. And it was like, oh, well, I saw the camera on a crane under a bridge, and you just saw a mood and a vibe.
Right.
So you kind of have to know who you're dealing with to know how much of the treatment to take for real.
It's funny. I said earlier that I don't DP that much, but I'm DPing a pilot. Well, I guess I do DP a lot when I do the split, but it's usually because corporate don't have the budget for DP. But I'm DPing a pilot coming up, and
you mean like for another director or producer, you don't typically. When you say you don't DP a lot for somebody else,
it's usually I run it
for your own stuff.
The full service production. Yep. So the lady reached out. She has a comedy pilot, and she needed a DP, but she's new. So I was like, kind of need a co-director too. So I'm co-directing a little bit, but that's one of the biggest things. She's a great actor. She's on huge sets all the time. But when you get to producing, it's a whole different game. So I'm just reading through. I'm like, so what do you mean here in this script? And I'm like, it sounds like you want it to be like funny here because it's comedy. Like, she's like, no, I need this to be dead serious. And, you know, it's just like those things, like you say, just like from breaking down a script, breaking down a treatment, like the way people communicate. That's why it's super important for the director DP to be able to talk and have those conversations. Like, it's a game changer. Like, you know what I mean?
I think you have to know what kind of music and what kind of movies they like. You know, if I know a director is into Quentin Tarantino or a director is into Jordan Peele's style of suspense, I'm going to at least have an idea when I read their script about what they might be trying to go after.
Yeah, and some things that go a long way for me is when people actually know how to do it accurately is like, let's call it Black Mirror meets American Horror Story. Yeah. Okay, now you can visualize the tone, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, so I really like when people are able to like kind of piece those together. Yeah, then between the lookbook and the rest of it, it's like, it's kind of easy, but you still got to have a conversation.
For sure.
Like, for sure. Just never know, man.
Yeah. But, you said it's a comedy that you're going to be DPing for her?
Yeah, it's a comedy pilot. I can't say too much on it, but I can't say, not a lot of people, she's a female, you know, women kind of tend to know it's Fleabag meets Survival of the Thickest and meets, she says no, but How Not to Die Alone is another Hulu show that it's dope. It's going to be a dope project. And like, I don't want to go too off on the tangent to that, but like, so you said some of those huge setups. I got one scene that's going to be a 3-second pool shot with pulling like a 20-foot crane just for that one shot. And it's like
a lot of pieces just for them 3 seconds.
Yeah. And then the rest is just going to be
But you need it.
Yeah.
You end up needing it. When you see it in the film, you're like, yeah.
Yep. And the rest is just going to be easy rig, playing as a tripod and bouncing around. But it's just production value. That's what you want to see. If you want to produce and pitch high-end production, it's like...
And it's, you know, you got to figure out, because 9 times out of 10, less is usually more. But part of less is more is the finesse of knowing when to put a little bit more seasoning or something.
Yep.
And so although your whole formula might just be easy rig, tripod, straightforward coverage, that one establishing shot might be what gives it that grandiose feel and completes it.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
so I get it for sure. Production doesn't always get it. You know, they definitely gonna go down the list of seeing what's gonna cost for the day, and the $15,000 extra dollars for the 3 second shot will probably be the first thing they want to talk about.
Luckily, we like that's the beauty of being in Atlanta. We're getting all of that for free. The beauty of being in Atlanta.
That's another conversation though for another time, because not everybody has those resources, and that
Fair.
speaks to, you know, the
Yeah.
network and the community that you've built up to be able to pull those resources like that.
Super grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what else you got in the pipeline coming up on your end? EPing, directing.
Lord.
I know you
Some
got a
corporate-
short film that you just shot, right?
Yep.
When's that coming
Yep.
out? What we gonna be seeing about that?
You know, I rushed that like crazy with hopes to get it out on Halloween. But then my AD was like, you know, Netflix, Tubi, and all that stuff, they're taking shorts now. And I was
Mhm.
like, so we can monetize. It was just to flex some muscles and to have
Yeah.
some fun because I never did a Halloween
Sure.
film. But the quality we were shooting it, I put out I call it the back call now because I put out a call on IG and it's like I can get 30 crew members like that off the loves. Let's turn it up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So just having the grip truck, having the red, it's like.
And you got
cook-
sponsors on that too, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, I was shooting it so quick of a turnaround. We had Quasar,
Right. Yep.
Gemini light panels, and Bauer, all
Like
willing
the
to
clothing outdoor brand, Eddie Bauer?
Anton Bauer, the
Anton
batteries,
Bauer, the Bauer company. Okay,
batteries,
okay, batteries. Yeah. I was like, Eddie Bauer, dang, get some
That would've been
outdoor wear.
crazy, yeah. I was trying to
thought
get
he was
liquor
doing
sponsors.
costumes or something. I don't know. A
But-
wardrobe.
But that's what I found out. Like, you just gotta reach out. Like,
Yeah.
so the cast on the film had a total of 11 million followers. So I was pushing that. I just made a pitch deck and was sending it out.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah. So they were like, just go on the website and pick what you want.
That's
like,
awesome.
So
What kind of stuff did y'all play with?
that's the thing. So it was during a hurricane.
Yeah.
The Helene, whatever.
Yeah.
And they were like, they were gonna send us so much crap, and they were like, "Oh, because of the hurricane, it's gonna be delayed and go past your film date." So we had them, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And had we started earlier, we probably could have got financial,
Yeah.
like actual money
Yeah.
sponsors.
Yeah.
But
Were you able to get any of the gear?
no, because
None.
hurricane just messed
Dang.
all of it up. It would have. I started too late.
Yeah.
I had a lot going on, but yeah, that's gonna be dope. It's coming together really nice. Like, I'm super critical. I'm like a perfectionist, and I was like, this ain't Netflix quality. I can't do it. I'm like, nah, I don't like these amateur shots. But like, when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Once you got to cutting it, it came together.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
like,
But
yeah,
you were
this is
nervous
solid.
when? Like
Uh,
reviewing or just like on set?
So we shot all overnights.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how that gets. You can't go to. I mean, you can, but
Yeah.
remember, 30 people all off the strength. Like,
Mhm.
so you can't go 14, 16 hours. So
Yeah.
it's like time was ticking, and I was like, we had to cut a couple corners, and I was like, I prefer my singles to look like this. This should have been like this, and I'm like, you know, if we want this to be on Netflix or whatever, get picked up, like it's gotta have this production value.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't like a lot of shake or nothing in my handheld shots, so it was just like little things like that we cut a few corners. I knew it was still gonna look good, but I was like, I don't want it to look good for Atlanta. I want it to look good for the country, the world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, you know, that was just a little bit of that, but it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope for sure. Just cutting it together. It was a lot of things. We had stunts. We had somebody getting snatched. We had.
I saw that. Shout outs to Hugh.
Yep.
What's Hugh's last name? Wynn?
Quinn. Yep.
Hugh Wynn.
Yep.
Yeah, getting busy with the stunts. I seen that.
It was fire. Yeah. Had the crane. Shout out Creed.
Yeah.
Shout out you. We had you and Creed with the Komodo that came in clutch, being able to put that on there.
But he did do the crane. He operated crane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed that.
It's kind of a finicky little crane to work with, so
He made it look
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just was the base. We didn't have an actual base.
it's always the base, man.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Pro Aim.
Yep. Pro Am. Yep.
Shout outs to Pro Aim. Is the pocket jib extendable 7 to 13 foot
I don't want to shoot
situation?
nothing else if it ain't on a crane no more after that. Like,
Crane movements are beautiful, man.
better than Steadicam. I didn't think it got
That's
better than Steadicam.
Man, that
But-
7 foot crane, like if you get into a room like this and you need to shoot coverage of a scene and a dialogue, man, you can put the camera up high, grab that angle, bring it down here, swing it over there, get you a push in, get you a pull out, and you done. And you never even had to move the base.
Fire.
Didn't have to move the base once. Just put it in the right place, swing the camera all around for your shots, get up out of that room.
Yep. Super fire. So yeah, that's gonna be coming out. I'm happy about that. There's like one little shot.
When can we expect to see some of that?
Oh, it's not going to the public. There's gonna be a premiere in December.
Like an actual in-person theater premiere?
Either it just depends on how because I'm not playing about the
You gonna do any events, like any premiere events or screenings?
Yeah. It'll be in person. I'll put it out to the public where people in Georgia can see it, but I'm not gonna post it on YouTube or nothing.
Right.
Until we make our.
You're gonna get it onto a streamer.
Yeah. So that's that, and then the comedy pilot.
What's it called? Dope. I'm sorry.
Think Twice.
Think Twice. We're gonna be on the lookout for Think Twice. I just want to make sure that was plugged.
Yep. The comedy pilot. Think Twice was to just play around and sharpen some horror muscles for a feature coming out called The Company You Keep, shooting that next year. Once we just finishing up the script, then I just got the network where we're shooting a bunch of original content.
Yeah.
Different shows, stuff like that. I always got corporate content. That's really about it. Nothing too crazy.
Talk about the network a little bit. Just give them a brief rundown of what that is.
Yeah.
I seen that and that looks pretty promising.
Right, yeah. So it's called Alt Ego, which is like the alter ego to, cable, Hulu, TV, stuff like that. We're always looking for alternatives. Netflix, like nothing's good on Netflix. We go to Hulu, the YouTube. I just want to be one of those sources of content. So it's a combination of that and kind of being the content that I want to see, and also just being able to, three things: being the content I want to see, not having to do client work anymore, then just having kind of like a faucet you can just turn on and off. It's like once you get a certain amount of subscribers, as long as you're putting out content, it's getting monetized. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's gonna be reality TV, game shows, films, just really just the whole network that, I don't know if it'll be forever on YouTube, but definitely start there and just grow, man. So all in the effort to build an audience that'll help push the, box office projects, but also just be a source for social media, monetization, stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, it could also be like a farm for talent for you. You may end up finding some of your actors and actresses from the reality that you bring into the feature film space.
Yep.
So I see that being kind of like mutually beneficial both ways.
It's just take a lot of consistency.
As is everything, but you got it, man. That's why you got the clients you got. That's why you get the jobs you do, because you stay consistent. You put in that work, and you make them calls, and you close them deals.
Man, and I don't get as much sleep as I always should. But
yeah, I dig that. You were just talking about today on Instagram too. But when you do take your trips, you get some rest, and then apparently you get some more calls for jobs to come back to. So
right.
That's the life cycle.
Right. That's a whole other conversation with Beta Squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Appreciate you having me out.
For sure, man. It's been a dope conversation. Do you have any advice to up and coming directors, EPs, cinematographers, just anybody that's kind of trying to figure things out? A lot of people already know what they want to do in this space, and that's cool. But there's a lot of people that just don't know what all the roles are, what they come with, what type of lifestyle support those roles.
You know me. I'm always going the business direction. You want me to go creative, or you want me to go business?
I want you to go you, man. I want you to go you. Give the folks some advice, which you would give them person to person, heart to heart.
My biggest thing as a creative, because there's a few people who, desire to be sound, desire to be something that doesn't involve a full service production or anything like that. But be smart when investing in yourself. That's my biggest thing. Like, in the past I made money decisions where I'm like, I'm buying new gear, or I'm paying for this when I could have paid for advertising, for training to make myself better, to get around people who can further me, you know what I mean? So it's like a lot of times we think in gear and creative, but just think more. My thing is just think more business, think more financial. Like, that's what's helped me like crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I think the first time I hit 6 figures, I changed my whole lifestyle. And I could learn quickly, like, our revenue ain't profit, and it's like, so that's my biggest thing. If you want to be able to create consistently, right, and be able to get the clientele and do stuff like that. But as a
So
creative,
let me
oh, go
ask
ahead.
this, not to cut you off, but like, what's your advice for the creative who knows what kind of jobs they want to get and maybe they're not getting them? How do you attract those? Does that mean you have to do free work,
Yep.
or do you recommend taking that risk of doing some free work for maybe creative
Yeah.
control in the situation so you can create what you want to eventually be paid to create?
Yep. Yep. First things first, have a reliable source of income. Second, create the world you want to be in, a part of, right? So it's like, okay, hey, I don't have, because a lot of people, they just care about the money. It's like, oh, I'm getting paid $250 for a music video, so they go shoot the music video like it was worth $250 and they pocket it,
Mm-hmm.
instead of, huh, I can get a Komodo for $150, some DZOs for $100. Now my camera cost just went up. So you gotta be able to sacrifice, and you gotta be able to sacrifice again. So you make $250 look like 500. You make 500 look like 1,000. You make 1,000 look like 5. You make 5 look like 10. Like, you gotta keep stacking up until you get to the point where it's like, okay, the portfolio is where it needs to be, and people see that. Especially in the music video world, it's all about flooding the internet. I've been told by artists like, we don't want to leave Instagram. Like, we want to go on your Instagram and just see you lit, posting all the time, and all of it looks fire. So it's like, you got to be able to have that real, that portfolio. So
How do you know when like you've reached that point, and how do you transition into, for lack of better term, standing on that portfolio with your pricing and your business model?
I think, um, just kind of, I can tell when I get to some points. Like, I think some people just reach out to me like, oh, what do you think about doing a spec for this lane? And I was like, nah, I'm good in that lane. You know what I mean? But there's times where I will do specs for other lanes when I want to cross into a new lane, or I just know. So I would say it's different depending on the industry. Music videos, it's like, okay, you got to get a signed artist. So, like, with music videos, you just got to shoot any and everybody and turn their budgets up for as long as you can to a signed artist, like, looks at you, and just comes across Instagram because your hashtags say music video director, blah, 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 and they just happen to see you networking,
So
you
that's
know.
the cheat code you think on the music video end, is kind of getting latched on to somebody who has, I guess, the views and the respect already. These established artists, like you were talking about, like a signed artist.
Oh yeah, specifically in Atlanta, it's like you can have the finest video ever. Like that video we shot for the Christian artist, dope. Sending people, it's like, who is that? I showed them a running gun of Erica Banks. They like, oh, you lit? I'm hiring you. You know what I mean? So in the music video space, it's all about flash, it's all about names. Like, if you can get it, shoot that for free. If you can get a signed artist, shoot it for free, turn it up. But obviously, you can only make something look so big budget enough with some
Sure,
kind of
but
budget.
but don't worry about the bottom line. Put it
Screw
back
that.
into the project.
Stack your resume with as many signed artists as you can. If you can't get the signed artist, get the features who might be shooting with a signed artist.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, like I got a girl right now, so I got a song with Young Jock. I'm like, let's run it. Don't worry about nothing. You know what I mean? Another dude who's like, I get signed to Flocka, like, you know what I mean? So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, it's just one of them things with music videos. But
So how about in the
other-
corporate space then? How do you make the transition from spec shooting to, contracts and projects that you're actually getting paid for?
in the corporate space, it's less about flooding your social media. It's more so about flooding your website and driving traffic to it. But it's like once you can feel confident, it's like, oh, can you send samples? When I think it's the psychology thing. I think when you can send confidently 3 to 5 samples, you know what I mean, to where they can just like, oh, first one, okay, this looks cool. Let's see another one. Oh, wow, this one's even better. Let's see one more. Okay, they do this, right? So having at least 3 strong samples in whatever field you want to do, and if you have more, that's even better. But yeah, like in the corporate commercial space, 3 super super strong samples. Corporate is a little more lenient than commercial. Commercial is got to be like ultra creative.
Yeah, no, I
Like the
love that, man.
narrative.
Because I actually never
Yeah,
thought about having like, multiple samples of a certain product.
yeah, for sure.
I actually never
Yeah,
thought about that.
because it's like, all right, think about it. Like if your heart was to mess up right now, and you need to go to a doctor? Would you rather go to a heart specialist or a general physician?
A heart specialist.
Because they've done it
Yeah.
a million times.
No, it
That's the way
makes
these
perfect
companies.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, make yourself
yeah,
a specialist in your niche.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
no,
So
that's good advice.
yep. Unfortunately, you got to be a specialist plus clout in the music video side, but on the
Yep.
corporate side, you just got to be a specialist and professional. But yeah, just meet people, be where people are when they're looking. And
Yeah.
that's the formula. But yeah, man, it's a dope journey. And you know, I think a lot of people are trying to figure out. I mean, one of those things is just like you gotta. It's a huge formula. It's like, okay, you gotta do great work. You have to have a great portfolio. You gotta be professional and all that stuff. But you gotta do sales. You gotta do marketing. But the strongest stuff comes from networking. Like, yes, you don't want to rely on word of mouth, but like networking is just huge. Like, think about it, because you don't really like working on crew sets with people you don't know, right?
No.
Same thing with clients. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to know that somebody knows them and can vouch for them. You know what I mean? Because there's just so much to lose, so much money on the line. So
Yeah. And they want to know, people know their morals, they know their values, they
Yep.
understand their thought process.
Yep.
Yep.
So shake as many hands as possible. I mean, it's crazy. I don't like being outside like that, but like being out meeting people, whether it's night, day, like
Yeah.
it helps. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you gotta bite the bullet. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna go out here, turn on a social
Yeah.
light, and then, you know, until you get to a point where you can have people go out and do that for you. But that's, yeah, it's just a crazy mixture, and it's
Yeah, no, networking is huge. It's definitely something that I think more people suffer from than are good at in our world. I've met more people that I think relate to not enjoying networking than I've met that do like it. But
Yeah,
it's
a lot
it's
of
a
energy.
necessary
Yeah.
thing for what we do.
That's a
Because
superpower.
you become family members almost. You know, when you're working 14 hours with somebody, 14 hours in the same room,
Yep.
participating hand in hand, getting the same task done. You know what I'm saying? That either like builds you guys close, or it's gonna drive a wedge between
Quick-
you, one or the other.
Quick plug too. That's dope. Joining adult team sports.
Oh
leagues.
yeah, we didn't even touch on your background, but you know, you played basketball overseas professionally, so you come from a background of team sport.
Yeah.
How do you think that, you know, has overlapped for you in this career?
Well, specifically, I guess to start just by trying to be somewhat athletic. If you go to your local Lifetime, LA Fitness, especially during the day, the people who don't have a 9 to 5 tend to have more money. They either work from home or they are entrepreneurs. So going to join whatever is pickleball, basketball.
Oh, so
or
you're
playing
speaking from a networking standpoint.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So playing a team sport with somebody, you're gonna get close. Y'all winning. Y'all, yeah. Get your number, man. I had such a great time playing with you.
I thought you were just talking about building personal character.
That's a whole other side of it.
And work
But
ethic.
the networking,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when you play a team game sport with
Yeah,
somebody,
no, that makes sense. I've heard
you,
lots of things about deals being made on the golf course, and if you ain't gonna come on the golf course, we ain't gonna make a deal.
Yep. Yeah, like the that's the perfect place, because it's not like sales. It's sports. You just, I really enjoy this dude. Oh, and after a while you just talk. You tired. You pick it up the bat. What you do? Yeah, I do production. Oh, you do production?
Yep.
Nothing to do. Got a bunch of jobs from that, but outside of that, sports just really gave me the work ethic like crazy. You know what I mean? I still got the same work ethic.
Yeah, it shows
that.
for sure.
So,
you know what I'm saying? It's one of the things I highly respect about you is that work ethic.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's that drive is like no excuses. That's kind of how I grew up for 18 years. I played.
Yeah.
So.
Nah, that's what's up, man. If you could go back and tell yourself, you started this journey when 2017ish, 16ish. You started shooting, started your company somewhere around there.
Officially 2019.
19.
But messing with the camera.
If you could go
17.
back to 18, 19, when you were figuring out what you were gonna do, because I know you came back from playing basketball and you kind of went all in on starting your own business. What would you tell yourself? Would you have any advice or any cautions or anything like that?
I would have educated myself. It's perfect world, right? I would have educated myself on personal and business credit. I would have got an LLC off rip. I would have made sure my personal credit was A1. I would have got a credit card, make sure it was building history as young as possible. I would get my kids a credit card so they have history and a great credit score. But I would start off my business with funding instead of self-funding. Because, you know, you can get 10, 15, 20, 50,000 with a new
Off the
LLC.
bat,
So
yeah.
I would have straight out of the bat, like with that. You know, I don't regret getting in the field and learning everything, but with 50,000 out the gate, you can hire people, you can do this and that. So it would have cut back on a lot of stuff. So I just would have not self-funded. But I think it made me stronger, made me who I was. But when I got some new businesses I'm starting. So now it's like, now I know the game. It's like, oh, this is about to be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would probably be the biggest.
No, I think that's a good piece of advice because a lot of people, especially creatives, it's like the last part they think about. It's the last part they think about. Fortunately for myself, I transitioned from being a barber to, you know, being a photographer and eventually a cinematographer. So that transition involved me already having an LLC, already having an accountant, already having personal credit established at least. But I've met a lot of counterparts.
You just utilize it with the.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
My LLC's been active since 2017. So you know you got to have a certain years of an LLC lifespan before you can apply for certain loans. But I definitely utilize my loan to get the transit outside. A lot of the lighting gear that's in there, the Komodo, you know what I mean? These are all things that I've put on credit and then paid off. None of this stuff is like you just dump cash because you have it in an account. Yes. That's not the smart way to do it.
Cash flow is everything.
Yeah. So credit usage is huge. Establishing it, like you were talking about, zero interest cards.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yep. Just put on your regular gas and food expenses and start building it.
I was living crazy trying to just buy gear like crazy and do this and that. Like
and trying to keep up with gear is a losing battle. You're literally trying to race time and you're never gonna win.
You got to get to a certain standard. I think my rule of thumb is like when you spend just as much renting it out as you would to buy it, then buy it.
Sure.
But anything less, you wasting money.
Sure.
Because a camera for $3,000 is a PA for 30 trips for $100 to go pick it up and rent it.
So we're back. I had to do a quick media swap. Just want to give you a chance to, plug your mentorship program and let people know how they can find out more and get an opportunity to learn from you. So just let them know about what you got going.
Yeah, so it's the Verified Video Business Owners Academy, right? So it's all about, helping either really successful videographers who just need to get over that hump for production companies, because that hump between 100,000, 250,000 years is tough to get past. It's like a whole different set of skill sets you got to have and stuff you got to employ. So it's helping people get to that point. I have started making products for like new videographers, but right now it's in-person one-on-ones and the video course is almost done. It'll be out soon. So it's just teaching. I don't think there's many people at all teaching the business foundation that I am. Like they're telling you, be super creative and do some sales, reach out, DM people on Instagram or make funnels, but they're not teaching you how to formulate your business, how to do the finances and all the other stuff. So it's dope. So
and you actually do like one-on-one coaching too, right?
Yeah.
Like you teach them how to talk the talk and how to walk the walk.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, it's so fire that I stopped doing it in Georgia.
Yeah,
only out of state.
Too much competition.
There's regional sauce that I don't even.
Yeah.
Hey,
it makes sense, but for anyone listening that's not in Georgia, it sounds like there's reason to tap in and click and, at least find out a little bit more about what Derick has to offer there. I would say that I would take full advantage of any information that this man has to offer. That would be my recommendation to you. So if you can get access to it, if it fits your lifestyle, if it fits, your journey right now, tap in, give it an opportunity. And I just want to say thank you, bro, for, coming on board, being with the people, sharing, our Martini take on these two projects that we had together and, everything else you got going on. And I appreciate the time, man.
sure. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
My God, man.
Yeah. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We got more episodes coming, more directors, more cinematographers, all that good stuff. I see you guys on the next one.
Like, comment, subscribe, all that.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe.